All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to part two of our three-part series, Getting a Job in Public Safety. Part two, the interview. My name's Tom Anderson. I'm part of the full-time faculty with Purdue Global. I'm also a 33-year policing professional and veteran. Spent about 20 plus years in different supervisory capacities, serving as an assistant chief, and then my last 7 years full-time as a police chief. And during that time, I've been a part of probably over 100 plus different interview uh, sessions, not just entry level, but also promotional processes. And my goal tonight is to share some of the things that I've seen lead to success. And of course, our time's limited. I do have the chat, so I can monitor any questions that come along. But if you have questions, just put them in the chat, and I'll try to get to those before the session's over. All right, so we're not just talking about policing. My background is policing, but we are all looking for the same motivated candidates, regardless of whether it's policing, corrections, or probation. We're looking for people with good backgrounds, good motivated, career-oriented people. Something that was important to me as a hiring manager was that the applicants that we were screening were goal-oriented, they were self-motivated. Something that was important to me in the applicants that we interviewed were these individuals that were going to take ownership in a profession that I took very seriously. Also important to me was someone with a strong academic background and someone that understood that they were a lifelong learner. This is a lifelong learning profession, and it's never over. For those of you that are in law enforcement already, you know that the training never stops and the learning never ends. So having that mindset going into it's very important. But again, we are all looking for the same types of applicants, regardless of whether it's policing, state agencies, federal agencies, local agencies, also corrections at all the different levels, and also probation. All looking for the same qualified applicants. Getting into the field, getting to the point where you are at an interview, sitting before that structured panel takes some time. And depending on the region, the state, the number of applicants, the processes can take some considerable time. So I share this with everybody so you know that when you apply with an agency, regardless of what type of agency, you could be waiting anywhere between 3 or 6 months or even longer, just depending on the type of the agency, the types or the numbers of the applicants involved. But typically, the process that you see on the slide are some of the things that you can come to expect. The application packets, it's significant. That gives us the information needed to do a proper background investigation. That entails looking at employment, different sources of employment, friends, family, lots of interviews that are taking place. In a lot of agencies, lie detector testing, including polygraph or computer voice stress analysis, is a typical screening process. Drug testing, psychological interviews. You also might have several interviews leading up to that final panel interview. Medical screening and all of this, everybody, is setting the stage for what will become that structured interview. I've seen that very consistent with with corrections types of interviews, law enforcement interviews, and also probation. And everybody, can I pause 1 second? And everybody, my apologies, I just had a technical issue. But this sets the stage for what will become again, a future panel interview. Having a strategy to go through this process is really critical. Do your homework before you apply. Learn about the organization, the missions, the priorities. Very important that if you can talk to current employees, that could be at job fairs. A lot of police departments have ride-along programs, citizen police academies. Being able to connect to employees that are already in that organization can really be beneficial as you prepare for the future position. Research the media, get an understanding of the challenges the organization's facing, any initiatives in progress. And everybody, this is vitally important simply because a lot of the interview questions that are designed come from what is available to you through your research. So A lot of the strategy just simply involves doing your due diligence, doing the research. So preparing for the interview, everybody, I without question, you need to start thinking about what could they ask you in the interview session. How should you answer? You should be thinking about that long before the interview panel, and you're literally trying to compete with whoever knows how many other candidates are out there, but you're trying to demonstrate that you are the best possible candidate for the position. A method that's used to prepare for an interview and just something that you all can practice doing is simply telling a story. A lot of the questions that we are asked in the career field involve where the interviewer will ask a question about how we would solve a particular problem. The STAR method is a very typical format for responding to a problem that allows you to tell a story. And this breaks down to a situation. You set the scene, give the necessary details in how you would respond to a problem at hand. The task, describe what your responsibility was with the situation. And in this, you are literally talking about what your goal is involving the situation. You're next describing your action, what steps you took to directly affect the situation, and then what your result is. So these are behavioral questions. These are typically scenario-based questions, and you are wanting to be able to show that you were able to actually respond with the result. Now, something that I will share with you that you might not have thought about is that when you apply on LinkedIn or Indeed, you will typically see a job description. Now, how many of you all have seen a job description? And I am monitoring the chat right now also. Okay. That is very typical to see a job description that gives an outline of what those job expectations are. Something that just to keep in mind, once that job announcement is taken down and interviews are being scheduled, typically that job description goes away. You can't see it. So the best practice is once you see the job description, save it, print it off, keep it, use that to prepare for potential scenario questions and behavioral questions so that when you are responding to those questions, you are able to exhibit the behaviors that relate to the different tasks within that job description. The job description really becomes a superpower as you prepare to answer future questions. So what types of questions can you ask? One of the questions that I have seen that has become that's usually the most difficult is the one that you probably wouldn't expect. It's as simple as this: tell us about yourself. That is a question that I have typically seen people put little preparation into responding to because it's really open-ended. There's no parameters. How far do you go back? I can promise you the person asking you this question doesn't care about where you went to kindergarten. They don't care about your favorite movie, your hobbies. They are literally asking you to set the stage for how you can fulfill that role. You need to provide them an image of you in that position and how you even respond to this first question. You are being given a stage, and now it's your chance to sell yourself. So if I was responding to this question, tell us about yourself. I'm going to talk about the job that I have currently and the things that I do within this job, such as working with a team, solving problems, providing leadership to a team, as it relates to that job description I just talked about. Also, the previous job that I had leading up to this one, how that also aligned with that job description for this current job that I'm seeking, and then what I'm wanting to do in the future, just so that they know I do have long-term goals and objectives. You're literally framing your responses and telling them about yourself as they are checking boxes in this job description. Strengths and weaknesses. So this is an area that I think it's obvious we excel in talking about our strengths, but not so much the weaknesses. So there is a reason, for these types of questions. Yeah, yes, it's important to see what your strengths are, but we also want to see your sense of self-awareness. Um, I would look for a weakness that you were able to articulate in how you responded to it and made it a strength. And that you have a level of resiliency that you are able to take a bad situation and make something positive out of it. It's up to you to define that weakness, but just understand, everybody, the right answer for that question is not, I don't have any weaknesses. We're all human beings. We all have weaknesses. Just be able to articulate one where you can describe in detail how you were tackling that weakness to make it a strength. Or if it's a failure, it could be a failure type question you're being asked. How you took that failure, what you learned from it is also very vital in how you articulate it. This is a question that I also see that it takes people off guard sometimes. Why do you want to work here? The time to be able to respond to that question isn't when you're sitting in the hot seat being asked a question. You should really be thinking about that long before you even apply with the organization. As you're doing your homework for that agency or that organization, you should be answering this question then. I would definitely put some time and effort into understanding the mission statement of the organization, why they exist as an organization, and how your background can plug and play and help them achieve their mission in the future, how you're going to be a part of that team. I would definitely want to demonstrate that I am a valued return on investment for that manager, in that they see me as a long-term investment. As a police chief, when I asked this question, um, I was thinking about this in the context that this is an expensive proposition when I bring on another employee. It We definitely don't have the time uh, to spend interviewing applicants nonstop. We want long-term committed, valued employees. So this is just a good opportunity to explain to that hiring manager that yes, I am that potential employee. What do you have to offer our organization? A lot of the times we get fixated on what that organization can do to me, but from the organizational standpoint, they want to know what you can do for the organization, how you are going to help them achieve that mission. I would definitely have prepared for this interview, understanding again the mission statement of the organization and that detailed job description so that I can respond to this question in ways that show that I am a match for this position, that I'm checking those boxes for the person that's interviewing me. What do you know about our organization? I have asked this question dozens of times in hiring police officers, and I've had good responses and I've had uh, some pretty bad responses. The worst is I had an applicant that told me they didn't know anything about our organization other than how to get there with a map, all the way to a applicant that had memorized our mission statement and was able to state it with authority. That person went on to get a job offer. So if you show up to an interview not able to answer this question, it's not going to be very flattering in that interview process. There's so much available at your fingertips to research, and as a criminal justice practitioner, we need to bring people on that have an investigative mindset, a curiosity. Again, we are lifelong students, and this just shows that this person has put the time and the effort and has the motivation to do that. Why are you the best applicant? A lot of times people don't like responding to this question or think that they are showboating. This is where that hiring manager has literally given you a stage, again, in a very competitive process to set yourself apart from the competition. Again, I'm going to respond to this question utilizing that job description. And I keep saying that for a reason because it really is that superpower. It helps you define, why you are a good hire and the right fit for that organization. You have no idea how many other applicants are lined up behind you or before you, and I want to stand apart if I'm the applicant for the job, whether it's a promotion or a new position. This is how you differentiate yourself. You have been given a stage, and this is the time to perform. And again, the best time to start practicing is way before the interview, everybody. I would highly recommend that if you're preparing for an interview, research the organization, research further what possible questions could they ask you. And this is going to sound a little crazy, but record yourself responding. Actually physically speak. Okay, respond to the questions as if you are in that interview setting. Record yourself and then watch the recording. Critique your performance. Try to understand where you can improve. And then when the time comes when you're in that hot seat, so to speak, It's not so hot. It's actually a lot easier when you are prepared and you have planned for this process. So a couple other questions, and this relates right back to the STAR questions, the behavioral questions. Tell us about a supervisor or a peer you had issues with and how you handled it. Everybody here has had some type of a challenge in the workplace, I would dare say, where you had to deal with another peer, an associate, or a supervisor, and being able to detach from a situation, take the emotions out of it, being able to explain how you performed as a professional can really help you to stand out. So I would definitely try to identify a challenging situation such as this and be able to tell a story and frame it so that you can respond to this type of question. I see a couple of you saying you have had those situations. How do you deal with emotional people in a crisis? Tell us how you have handled a situation like this. I know a lot of you are not yet in the criminal justice field, but how many of you have worked in customer service? I know I've probably got several of you that have worked with people face to face. If you've worked in a restaurant, in a store, you have probably worked with people. Caitlin, you probably have met some people that weren't that happy over a situation. I would dare say that many of you have had to deal with unhappy people from time to time. This is a time to shine in the interview about this extra superpower that you have that maybe another applicant doesn't. If you've got good communication skills, you've been able to de-escalate a customer. And 10 years, Bradley, that will definitely serve you well. Caitlin, 10 years in customer service, absolutely. You've had to deal with problems. That is very transferable into many areas of criminal justice. Some of the best officers that I had as a chief were people that had a strong customer service background because they were used to dealing with people in conflict. Even in a restaurant setting, you're going to be dealing with a lot of conflict, not just from the customers, but also other staff from time to time. So you might not have realized it, that you were training for the career field, even in a restaurant setting. Be able to explain that and articulate it in the interview setting, and it will set you apart. Scenario questions. Scenario questions truly are behavioral questions. The STAR method can help you in responding to the scenario questions. One thing that I will share with you that probably most applicants don't realize, I have never been in an interview situation where the panelists actually knew the right answer for the scenario question. There's no right answer. There's no one right answer for a scenario question, everybody. That is all about demonstrating your ability to solve problems, make decisions, and articulate that in a response. Okay? That's all it is. Don't stress out over a scenario question thinking that you might not have answered it the correct or the right way. It is simple problem solving, being able to explain that. That's really all that's about. And something else that nobody might tell you is that when you sit before that panel interview, especially in a policing context, it's a very professional tone, very stoic, very matter of fact. There's not going to be a lot of joking or no joking. It's the same for every applicant so that we can be fair and consistent in how we ask questions and document those results. I can tell you that I've had responses from applicants where I wanted to jump up and high five that applicant right in the middle of the meeting, but I could not do that, obviously. Understand that although they might be stoic, not smiling, very, very professional. They really want you to do well in the interview. In fact, everybody that initially sat before me, I wanted that person to be the one that I hire. I've never went into an interview situation where I did not want to hire somebody. So you've already got that going for you. They are already in your corner. If you made it to the interview setting, a lot of important people have made decisions to get you there. They've given you the stage. Now it's time to perform. So again, job description is a superpower. Get a copy of it, study it, tells you exactly what the job entails. And everybody, the job description is almost a cheat sheet to the questions. It really, truly is. You can weave your answers in a way that demonstrates you can meet the points within the job description. Dress in an appropriate attire. Everybody, this is a professional environment. When you're working in criminal justice, you are a professional criminal justice practitioner. Dress for the job, look professional, practice good posture. When you're practicing answering questions for that future interview, sit down like you're going to do it for real. Okay, don't cross your legs, don't cross your arms, let your circulation work. And very importantly, do not forget to breathe. Okay, your brain needs oxygen, and the more you breathe, the deeper you breathe, the better you're going to think. And of course, preparation is everything. These are interviews that can change your life course. So take it for the seriousness that it really provides for. Either you're prepared or you're hoping to get lucky. Never show up to an interview unprepared, everybody. Luck is not a strategy for success. Now that I'm talking about success, I'm going to hand it over to my friend Nicholas with the Center for Career Advancement. He's going to talk about maintaining that success. Thank you,
That-
Nicholas.
no problem. Thank you for that, Professor Anderson. As Professor Anderson stated, my name is Nicholas Turner. I'm currently a career specialist supporting undergrad and graduate students in the public safety and legal studies field. So, for those of you who are not familiar with the Center for Career Advancement, we currently do provide 24/7 online access to the Career Network. If you are interested in accessing the Career Network, you'll first log into your student portal. From there, you'll click on the Career Network, which is located on the drop down under the Community Center tab. On the Career Network, you will find a lot of great information ranging from various resources such as industry trends, resumes, cover letters, employer spotlights that we do currently host, networking opportunities, interview prep, as well as other professional development topics that are beyond your program specific information. Another great aspect to the Career Network is you'll always have access to job leads, which we do provide, as well as you'll have access to any program specific groups that will enable you to either interact with other colleagues as well as other staff members for the Center for Career Advancement. Now, one of my favorite aspects to this Career Network is there's a specialized designated area where you're able to post any questions or upload your cover letter and resume for review. And somebody from the Center for Career Advancement will review that and get back to you with any changes or revisions that do need to be made. Now, in addition to that, you will also be assigned a career specialist as well, who will be able to assist you with your occupational direction. They'll be able to review any social media profiles you may have, as well as send you any targeted job leads and provide that dedicated one-on-one job search assistance when it comes to your job journey. So for those of you who are interested, please connect with us. At the end of the presentation, I'll put our email address in the chat for you to have if you are interested in inquiring about any additional services as well. And Professor Anderson, are you able to advance the slide as well? Yep. So the information that I just spoke about is highlighted on this page as well. And then you can go to the next slide. Perfect. Thank you for that. Another great benefit with you attending Purdue Global, you're always going to have information right there at your fingertips. Our team of career specialists, we do strive to connect you with employers that are across the country to identify opportunities that are just dedicated for you. Some other features for the Center for Career Advancement, we do host monthly employer sessions. We also do upload career-related videos that are dedicated to the public safety and legal studies field. And then as mentioned earlier, we do share dedicated job leads for you, as well as create any kind of content to make sure that you are relevant in your current industry. Now, one piece of advice that I do just want to kind of add for those of you who are interested in pursuing a career after you do graduate in your field is networking. That's going to be very pivotal for your career growth. So I just want to just stress that. If you do need any additional assistance, again, please connect with us as we will definitely love to assist you in helping you reach your goals and find that career of well, that career that you've always kind of dreamed of having. So again, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put our email in the chat for everyone to have if you are interested in finding out more about career services and how we can assist you. So just give me one moment. So everyone should be able to see that in the chat as well. That is career services at Purdue Global .edu. So I just want to just thank everyone who attended our presentation for this evening. So what we're going to do now, we're going to transition over into the alumni breakout room, where everyone's going to have an opportunity to hear from Shelby, who is a PG alum. She'll be able to kind of talk about her career journey as an investigative assistant, answer any questions that you may have, and kind of go from there.
It looks like everybody's back. Everything go good, Nick? Anything we need to share?
It went great. Shelby did a great job just explaining her career path, how she got to her current position, some things to look out for when you are interviewing, some of her mistakes that she had, and things that she would do different if she had the opportunity to kind of go back to the very beginning. So very insightful. I just had to give her the most praise because she did great. And these are some of the things I wish I kind of learned when I was first kind of interviewing for my first career position. So, but overall, it was great just to kind of hear about her journey and how she got to where she is now.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, certainly. Thank you, Shelby, and Nick. Certainly, thank you for coming here and sharing with us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. For our second installment of Getting the Job series. I hope each and every one of you will join us again next week, same time, for our third and final installment of the Getting the Job series. Outside of that, thank you so much again, and hopefully I'll see everybody next week, and have a good night.